Okay, recorded. Amazing. So welcome to this mysterious island, okay? So in this island today, we are going to understand how to use our external context and social economic trend to boost our IR-based opportunities. So the session flow overall will be first the IR challenges review. We know it's been a while that you were working on the IR alignment, and also we want to know what is the frustrations you had and also what are the key success. And then 15 minutes, we are going to have why and how we can tackle the IR solutions for the next semester. And also we can have info researching time. And then in the last 10 minutes, we are working on the sharings. Yeah, so some goals that we want to achieve, first of all, is review the IR challenges and also solutions on boosting the opportunities and regional research on the IR relationships and also potentials. And plus, if we have time, but since we are starting late, so I'm not so sure do we actually have time for this, but we actually want to talk about our MC for accountability system in the future. But if no, then maybe we will suggest Fatih and Serafina to have that in the last day of the functional check. So we are welcome the comments, and also you can always share your thoughts at any time. So again, if you want to talk, like address something, you can open your mic, but please type in the chat, or you can just leave the comments in the chat as well. That's pretty nice. Okay, so let's start with the session today. First of all, I want to ask you an interesting question. Like, if we don't do IR in GTA and GTE, right, how it will be actually different? Do you think it will be different? And then also, do you think, like what will be the impact? So if you want to talk, you can put your name in the chat. If you want to type, you can just type. We don't do exchange, you mean without IR? No. We do exchange, but if we are not putting efforts on IR. Not targeted. We can't align SND. Our applications will be random. No IR, no exchange. Wow, that's extreme. Okay, so I will share one of the interesting, okay, Amy, understand main supply, we have to set the right expectation for OP partner. Amazing, cool. Yeah, of course, like, because we are always talking about the benefits of doing IRA. But actually, I had this very interesting conversation with one of the MCVP in the last year, and also with SK as well, that we are talking about what if there's no IR at all, and also actually how IR is impacting the like the supply and demand. Like, let's say if we are working on IR, then why supply and demand is still not 100% aligned? And also, if we are doing IR, then in the yesterday product context session, we also can see that, yes, we are trying to push our customers to apply to the AP opportunities, but why people are actually applying for Europe? So that is the thing, interesting thing about IR, because sometimes IR, it's what you are saying, that it can help us to align better in terms of profiles, like expectations. But however, we need to also admit that IR cannot control everything, and IR is not always the solution, because the market itself, they will have their own perceptions on each countries. They will have their thoughts, and they will have their own personal goals. So that's something that we need to admit, that in GTA and GTA, we need to admit that there were like bunch of amounts of the like past experiences was actually happened organically without IR. So if we look into the Airbnb and ISET, right, we have some similar common points, which is we are all creating supply and demand by ourselves, and also like we are actually creating different values, like try to align the expectation. Like what they do is they are putting the like descriptions or photos of the host, and then also they are trying to put a lot of comments on the host, so that when the guests come into their platform, they will be able to see and select. And also some different thing that we are having with Airbnb is that, of course, they have a better technology and platform than us. They can have AI recommendations features there. So no matter what, like it's easier for people to filter the the accommodations as well. That's something that we cannot do. So, and also there are some other facts about how our supply and demand is actually working. First, ISA is an organization for people to develop themselves. Like, we are not a startup with millions of dollars. That, of course, AI recommendation feature is not available for now. And the second is our people are actually our biggest strengths and also the biggest resources that we are actually having. And we don't really have enough money to compete with the platform business. That's not our strengths. And the market will decide S&D somehow. So this is something that we need to admit. And also we need to also admit that maybe probably in the next year, the pandemic, the lockdown, it will still going. And then we don't really know when will be the end, because how our S&D works is we are connected to each other. If there is one country inside of the region or one key suppliers or OP providers in the region is not coming back, then probably we will always get affected by this situation. So my personal opinion is that informational instability will be the new normal in the next year for the IR alignment. So I know you have been struggling, and we hear a lot of different months when we do the IR review, we will hear about, I will hear from affiliates telling me, oh, OGT cannot focus on this country right now. They are shifting to the next country, because of the border. So there are a lot of this kind of changes as happening. I know it's frustrated because we are also in this thing. We are also trying to see how we can help you to align IR better. And second is that we need to admit, if we don't manage well, the exhaustion will always be there. Probably every time when we hear about changes, probably right now we are already comfortable with it. We don't even think that's a change, it's not going to surprise anyone anymore. And then we are just trying to do something. And probably we need to involve the way on how we are actually doing IR. So I just want to know how frustrated you were from 1 to 10 that in the past semester that when you were doing IR, and also how many changes you have been gone through that you need to change your IR partners. So you can just simply type the numbers, how frustrated you are and how many changes you have been gone through. Yeah, so we can see how everyone's state's looking like. 1,000. So frustrated, Anga. Oh my God, it's not a competition, okay, people? My MC team trying new partner every month for the first semester. Okay, so which is not pandemic, right? Okay, even not pandemic, because we don't have AI platform feature to see. So we need to try everything out. It's like trying to swim with sharks behind you. Who are the sharks? Is it owl? Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing, people. So here's something that I want to share with you. The beautiful thing, for sure, it's that although we think, pandemic, it's making this job more difficult, but actually just Fatih shared, even without pandemic, actually IR alignment is difficult in this organization, because again, we don't have very, very fancy platform for us to see, every month just recommend which country is available. I'm always envisioning that if we can have this kind of feature on expat, that will make our job so easily. So we can see this is the photos that I collected from the approval challenges on how LCs and also how MCs you were trying putting time and efforts in the IR alignment course. So I want to give you some reflection time. You can just type into the chat. First is how much time you were spending on IR alignment per month, and also what are the main challenges you were facing, and how did you react to the solutions? Is there any great solutions you want to suggest to us? What is your main key learnings? So I will give you 5 minutes that you can actually have a bit reflection on what you have been through in the IR alignment.
One, two, three, four.
Everything you do, it's sensitive. brings me higher than the moon. With every twinkle in your eye, you strike a match that lights my heart on fire. When you're near, I hide my blushing face and trip on my shoelaces. Grace just isn't my forte, but it brings me to my knees when you say hello. How are you, my darling? Today I fall into a pile on the floor. Puppy love is hard to ignore. When every little thing you do, I do adore. We're as different as can be. I've noticed you're remarkably relaxed and I'm overly uptight. We balance out each other nicely. You wear sandals in the snow in mid-July. I still feel cold. We're opposites in every way, but I can't resist it when you say hello. How are you, my darling? Today I fall into a pile on the floor. Puppy love is hard to ignore. When every little thing you do, I do adore. Finding words I mutter, tongue-tied, twisted, foot in mouth, I start to stutter. Heaven help me, hello. How are you, my darling? Today I fall into a pile on the floor. Puppy love is hard to ignore. When every little thing you do, I do adore. Every little thing, ba 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 ba. Every little thing, ba 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 ba. Every little thing you do, I do adore. Every day when I wake, it's just the same. Plot the ways that I could make my escape from the dark, fall apart to a place so far where dreams are. Then I see your face and you show me the way, and the words you say set me free. There's more to believe and so much more to see. I am free, free to be me.
So many days and ways I ought to change. These are the thoughts that drown my brain, and I'm sinking deeper and deeper into a hole.
I don't know where else to go. Then I see your face and you show me the way, and the words you say set me free. There's more to believe and so much more to see. I am free, free to be me. I've learned to shield my eyes, and I would dread the sunrise until so much more to see. I am free.
Okay, time's up. So we see there are a lot of sharings are here. So I just want to spend some time that you can also read how others are talking. So yeah. There are a lot of changes. How to align IR. We don't know how to align IR, and also how to maintain IR partnerships. And yes, thinking about the rebranding, focusing on selling opportunities, don't have opportunities. You don't have a lot of opportunities. Yes. So yeah, we can see like different people are facing different kind of struggles inside of the IR alignment. And for sure, we know that there are a lot of things. And also something that I want you to, why I need you to review this in like before we even start the main content for today is because I want you to know that the efforts with wrong tools, there will be no results. Like probably you are spending, like we will have people that are spending a lot of time on working on IR conversations, and then in the end we don't have opportunities. And then maybe you shift to the focus on we are going to raise a lot of opportunities or attract a lot of applications, but then we realize, oh, actually, people don't really have much interest to open opportunities, or actually people don't really want to go abroad as well. Or maybe you want to focus on the partly remotes, but then the efforts that we were putting, like we decide something, like we decide some industry, we put some our assumptions, and then we try 10 companies, 50, 100, and then we realize it's going to fail. And then we say that, okay, partly remote is not a thing. So there are a lot of things that we can actually always do the review on our daily efforts on how the approaches are actually looking like, because I think one of the key strengths of us is that we are willing to try everything out, and just depends on what kind of method that we are actually use. So here is some interesting data that I want to show with you. This is actually the goal of the realization that people are planning. So when you are seeing this, right, what is the gut or initial thoughts comes to your mind? Like this is the goals that OGTA was planned 405 realizations, and IGTA is planning 432 realizations. So what is the key things that you are thinking? Anything? Okay, cool. Then I will, more outgoing than incoming approvals. Exactly, Ingrid. So what does this mean? It means that we are misaligned from the beginning. Like, so if IGT, we were planning like less than OGT, which means we are not even, have enough application. Like this is in the beginning. Like in the beginning, we are not aligned in terms of the goal itself, right? Then rather than not only talk about like profiles, details, work fields, durations, then probably it will be more messy than we are understanding our alignments. So I guess after that, like we are misaligned in the beginning, and then of course we are going to be messy in the middle, because probably the goals that your IR partners is telling you is not the real goal, and then they are keep changing because everyone is keep changing, right? And here we go again, because right now it's going to be the replanning season, and then we are going to experience this again. So in this time, how we can do it differently? This is some answers that I want to figure out with you together with in this session. And also the top challenges is lacking of the opportunities. I don't know actually what does lack mean in here, because from what I see, like AP, we still have progress, right? We have opportunities. It's just because like when OGT people are always feedbacking that we don't really have enough opportunities in AP, I guess it's because of the misaligned in the expectation. Probably they are expecting we can have partly remote opportunities, or probably they are expecting that our opportunities can be on time, like be ready in September, which was not happen. Like our opportunities were coming in the middle of October. So that's something that we also need to manage. Like, what is exactly the amount of opportunities? How many opportunities people will actually feel that's enough for me to promote? So this is the question that I don't think it's only needs to be answered by OJT, because IGT people, when you are aligning the expectations, are you actually communicating this with your OJT partners? So if we already know this what happened in this semester, then how we can avoid in the fruit peak, right? And these are the top foreseeable challenges that we were collected from the SOGA answers. So as you can see, most of the like GTA people, it's quite similar like the GTA and GTE from what I understand, like border situations, economy, salaries for EP, like, and also the process change. That's a really good point, I think, from IGTA. And also OGTA is mentioned again, like lack of opportunities. So if we kind of know what are the concerns that people were having for the fruit peak, then can we actually be able to prepare better to start the fruit peak, to avoid the mistakes that we were having in this fish peak? So for IGT, I guess this will be always the question that you want to figure out, like from both IGT and also OGT side, like how we can ensure we have enough opportunities, and also OGT, how we can find right markets and they are willing to work abroad or take risks. So if we want to solve that, right? But something that we can also see inside of the network is always like when we are talking about solutions, it can be reactive or proactive. So what is reactive? Like imagine you are actually passing a people and then you see the bottle is actually on the edge of the desk, right? And then you see it's going to falling down, and then you step into it and then you take up. That's reactive. But if you already see, okay, that bottle is on the edge of the table, and then you kind of know that, whoa, maybe if I don't, put it back later, probably one person will come, it will fall. So that's proactive. So how actually you want to react to the situation? Because what I believe is that two solutions will be working. Like a lot of innovations are actually coming reactive, right? It's not always the new innovations. Well, like people know, okay, they did perfect analysis, they kind of predict, and then they bring up the solution, and then they are successful. I believe there are also successful cases that is coming in a reactive way. So I'm not telling you that right now which one is the better one, but I think you need to find your way to deal with the deal with this situation. So there are two solutions. If you want to act reactively, maybe what you can do is to let the market to choose, let it flow. Because in the beginning we are talking about, right, like we were putting a lot of IR in the efforts, but however, the real situation is not, the market is still decide what they want to go. So what we can do is probably we can let the market to choose and let it flow. Or solution B, we can develop the purposeful IR partnerships. So let's look into solution A. What is this talking about? So first of all, from my point, I think we can actually work on your market attraction strategies to ensure you have enough opportunities and applications. For example, like South Korea, Vietnam, IGT, you don't have enough opportunities for you to actually do an IR alignment. Then, of course, definitely your focus should be your market. You need to ensure you have enough opportunities first, right? Same as OGT. And also second one can be, we can focus on the regional customer journey implementation to save some efforts in the process alignment. Because in the IGT part, we can already also foresee that the process alignment will be changed a little bit. So I think actually the regional customer journey, for sure, it has some improvement points to how we can actually monitor the changes better in terms of the triggers for scenarios changes. Like this is something that conversation we can bring up with the next team of the regional office to think about how we can involve the current customer journey to the next one. But I think like I was seeing that Malaysia OGTs were doing that, and also I see Vietnam was also aligning that. Like I think that's very great, like because it's actually saving your efforts to align with new IR partners. And also the third one can be focused on the customer needs rather than we are pushing. Like for example, IGT, let's say if you have like 10 teams of selling the opportunities, and then you like in the beginning, you made the decision, like after your research, you are saying that we are going to focus on industry A or B, and then they were doing that. But then after they contacting maybe 100, 1000, they realize, oh, this two industry is never working. And then they assume, okay, top growing industries recommended by MC is not working, then our GT is not relevant. Like people might will be easily to put this kind of conclusion, you know, easily. So I think as MCVP, what we need to encourage in the network right now is we need to try everything. Like we can, if you don't have results with this industry for, like, let's say the benchmark will be 200 companies. After you contact 200 two companies, then maybe you can consider looking to other industry. Or you can have 10 teams to focus on 10 industries. Maybe like one team will have some results, right? Same as OGT. If you are saying that like this IR partners doesn't work, maybe we can try with different, like we can do customize the recommendations to the EPs as well, and based on different opportunities. So this is something that we can consider to, if we don't want to, you know, we want to decentralize our control on the IR. And also it's not a bad thing. And also we can lower down the expectation. Probably you will say that, but what if like we don't have IR, then, you know, like when company asks or when EP asks, we don't know. But you can always like lower down the expectation as well, that you are saying that different countries will have different process time, or different countries right now will have different expectations. This is something that you can try to adjust with the solution A. And also I think building the resiliency and setting the new operation model between how we are doing IR collaborations can be the key. So here are some amazing figures that I want to share with you, which I found it in the McKinsey report. It's talking about how we can adjust into the new normals and how we can plan for plan under the uncertainty. So basically what is like, although I customize it a little bit, but I think the key idea is there. Like when you are moving to the pre-attraction and 2021 replanning meeting, something that you need to review is about IR performance benchmark. This is something normal, but think about the latest scenario forecast, because you were doing the scenario planning in the beginning, and then you can review how the triggers are, and then should we actually adjust the triggers and how we were actually monitoring it. And also I think that here is some key outputs that you can try to see, like we need to define the resiliency KPIs and also triggers, and we need to have a better routines to review and monitor it. So that's how the scenarios planning is actually working. So in terms of how the different, like if you want to talk about how we can make us more resilient and then be more agile in terms of managing the changes between IR partners focuses, then maybe you need to identify what are your no regrets moves first. Like, okay, I need to think about, like, you know, like if I made some decisions, we don't have a lot of regrets, but we think about how we can try our best. And also we can go with the stretch moves and then think about how we can actually amplify our potential. So if you are interested, you can go back to this research model, and here are some examples for you to also think about. So if we are going to take like a farm company as an example, the way that they are, and also this is a real example, okay? So I'm not so sure it's from US or UK, but it's one of the growing companies real example. So first of all, they identified like opportunities in precision of agriculture, identify previous Shark Tanks on the home landscaping. So they are actually doing some very similar thing about innovation, like they are not putting any regrets on trying the different solutions. And also they are additionally monitoring of the opportunity during COVID-19. So they are thinking about if we are going to do these kind of things, like in the future, we don't regret at all, you know, like because we somehow know what will be the challenges, and then we adjust our actions to those challenges. So it was called no regrets movement. And then it's called about stretch moves. So they were trying to launch the digital marketing campaigns, identify target consumers in the context, and also bundle core market purchases with the pros and cons. So there was also growth identified in the landscaping with the high priority adjacency. So this is something that you can also try with to think about from the no regrets moves, how we can actually have a better implementation plan for that, and also define a very clear KPI for that. So in the end, there will be a full potential. So so this part will be mainly talking about, let's say, if you wanna focus on some particular market, then what kind of different ways or different aspirations that you can actually try to explore. So that is discover the full potential. So once you have the essential movements, it's ready, and then you can start to think about what can be the areas that we can explore for the different solutions. And also something that you can consider inside of your IR collaborations, because I know that a lot of you are actually managing IR with your ESTs. So think about how the structures can be adjusted in terms of through like the decisions or the routines or the reporting system or the information that we are going to get reported from the EST. And something that I want you to check with is that the COVID-19 health monitoring. So how we can actually, you know, like always keep monitoring this. What are the trigger points? Like what happened? Then we will actually adjust focus from IR partners to another one. So this is something that I want you to also think about with your ES team when you are actually go with the replanning. Yeah. So are we cool with this part? Do you have any comments? Okay, I see Winnie is. That's great. Thanks. Okay, Akai is good. I see Afan is taking notes. Amazing. Then we will move to the next part. So the solution B is develop purposeful IR partnerships. I believe, can you please send this? Yes, sure. You can find it in the output itself. Okay, so there are some examples in the region like previously, okay? We can see, yeah. So we can see there are a lot of this kind of purposeful partnership was happened before because they strategically choose to focus on them. And then they have a lot of investments or what, like for example, India and Bangladesh, like how Bangladesh was established is actually mainly like was actually coached by India, and then they were putting a lot of investment on it. And then Bangladesh OGV was growing a lot in the beginning of the years with India as well. So these are some examples like what happened before inside of the region. And also there is a recent example, like probably, I'm not so sure if you heard about it or not, but basically this is the case with between MOC and Germany. So MOC reached out to Huawei as a company that they are actually trying to build more global exposures and also try to build more capacity in their global offices. So they realize, oh, they are actually new to the Germany, and then they want to hire some people like from MOC to there or from other countries to Germany. So it can actually help them to hire with ease, you know? So this is some like conversation. It's not Germany brought up Huawei. It's actually MOC OGT people reach out Huawei, and then they are open IGT opportunities in Germany. So why I want to share this case with you is that this is not a new thing. Like even in 1819, MOC was also trying to do this kind of thing with India. So actually we were able to explore 10 opportunities open with Chinese companies. But in the end, because of the visa things, right? It was not really happen, but right now it's happened again. So what I want to tell you is that there is the potential for you to also look into this. If you are always facing the consistent changes, like for example, India or Vietnam or Sri Lanka, Pakistan, like actually basically all of you can look into this kind of situation because you were having very strong partnerships in the past. And then I believe that you want to find a way to sustain your partnership. And I believe this can be one of your solutions as well. Yeah. So the benefits in the ideal version, of course, when IGT open opportunities, you already got positions. So OGT, you won't be scared about, I don't have opportunities for our country. And then when IGT, when you open opportunities, you kind of know like the process or the key pipelines because you work with particular company. So they will have their own process and you are being very familiar with it. Like that's what's the example between MOC and Hong Kong with Alibaba. So every year is the same. And also and also Apple with Hong Kong, Taiwan, MOC, because every year is same, and you have that key account to provide you a lot of opportunities every year. So now the question comes, Ayo, what happened with Zoom today? Okay. So now the question comes, why you're not moving? Maybe it's so excited, you know, the Zoom got so excited that, this solution is great. Okay, so maybe you will be confused about who to choose and also how to develop, right? So let's look into international relations in external perspective. So basically, this is what I got from Wikipedia. Like it's talking about basically is a study of politics, economics, and also law on global level. And of course, it will covers more. So I guess that's also why, you know, IR alignment is always a very hard job, because you cover so many areas that you don't really know. But of course, I think if we want to choose some companies or key countries or key industries, like these are something that's simple that we can actually think about. So there will be an exercise time in after I explain this, but I'm not so sure how much we can stretch into the end of answer, because I don't really expect that we can actually finish the research in 20 minutes, you know. So it must be a follow-up job carried by you and also our 2021. So I'm glad Serafina is there. But think about, try to answer this, okay? So politics in the region, what are the countries your countries have conflicts with? And any one of them are still your IR partners. I will give you 5 seconds to think of each question, okay? So don't stress out yourself, because right now it's not the time for you to answer it. Like, we will give you time later. Okay, next question. Laws in the region. According to the labor laws or the current border situation, what other countries are restricted? That you cannot go, you cannot send people, you cannot accept people. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I see Lucia is nodding the head and Winnie is smiling. I guess you are confident with your answer. Okay, economy in the region. Which country or countries are currently investing, or top growing industries are expanding the market there? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now I want to know how many people you had some sorts. Like, which country is there? What are the challenges when you think about answer? I will pick someone to share, okay? Okay, I will give Phileas, you can pick one OGT person to share. Random pick. Pick by Phileas. Phileas' favorite.
I saw you smiling.
Me? Hi. Okay, so for me, like for the first question. Oh wait, so should I answer both questions, or the first or the second?
No. You don't need to answer particularly. It's just like after 3 questions, which country comes to your mind?
Okay, so there are some countries come to my mind in those questions, like for example, like China, Japan. Yeah, and the challenge is about the visa, because like there's many countries that I think it's really potential for us, but like the visa just they just stop us from exploring or like to developing the opportunity. Yeah, that's the biggest challenge for us.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you for the sharing, V. And I'm glad that you have your answers in your mind, which means you are actually very sensitive in terms of these areas regarding for the IR relations. Okay, so now I will give you some hints, okay, before you are going to carry out your answers and also research. I hope this can help the process easier. So some of the figures that we realize, like if you know, wait, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. So you can see that how, so wait, yeah, we should have this page first, sorry. Okay, so some figures, like you need to know there are 3 important initiatives happens in the region and also happening in the region. One is TPP and CPTPP. So basically, This two is talking about how we can actually have a greater elimination of the traffic and higher level of the labor and environmental standards, and attempts to place some restrictions on state-owned enterprise. So actually they were focusing a lot about ASEAN states, and also like America was the one who was actually joining these conversations before. But however, in terms of the CPTPP, it's actually been evolved from the TPP itself, but they are still like try to cover more markets, like for example, Japan, Australia, Canada, and also Mexico. And then RECP, like anyone has noticed the news just happened like 10, like I guess 1 week ago. Anyone know RECP? If you know, can you type in the chat like wave or hey, yes. Okay, Aka, yes, Lucia, no. I think so. That's interesting. Okay. Anyway, so ICP, it's going to be, it's actually a boom news, I guess, for USA, you know, like because, and also for EU, because actually that will be a greatest trade zone happen in Asia Pacific. And then we are covering the 15 countries inside of it. So if you can see, like, you can see like, because in the past, right, no matter like TPP or CPTPP, we still are leading by the Americans, or mainly by America, and then very few collaboration. Like we don't really have a lot of collaborations with EU. But right now, if you check with RCEP, which is the circle here, okay, it's fine. I guess you are smart. So we can see Cambodia, Myanmar, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, Laos, Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, plus China, South Korea, Japan, and Australia, New Zealand. We are together, like we are RECP. So maybe you will curious about like where is Sri Lanka, where is Pakistan, where is India. So from what I know is that India was in this conversation, but they didn't join for somehow. And for Pakistan and Sri Lanka, I'm not so sure, but yeah. So this is the current situation that is happening in the region. And also they are actually focusing a lot in terms of agriculture, manufacturers, and also e-commerce investments, services, intellectual property rights, like this kind of areas that is going to have high level of collaboration inside of the region. And also there are some travels, like how travel, like maybe you will be confused about, yeah, travel, but what is like, you know, what is mean for GT perspective? We are labels, right? But I think if people wants to go some country, it also shows the interests that the countries, you know, from one country to particular another country. And then after they got traveling, maybe they will have bad opinion or they will have good experiences there. So that's how it works. So from this picture from 2009 to 2018, you can see actually, I wanna paint, wait. Okay, yeah. So actually you can see in here, we got more interactions, right? And it's also like somehow was covered inside of the IECP initiatives as well. So which means probably we will have better, you know, friend relationships, or people will have better stereotype understanding of each other's. So that's something that you can also try to look into. And then also how was the investment was looking like. So we can see we have some leading groups inside of the region, which is Japan, China, Australia, South Korea, India, Singapore. Yeah, so these are the major countries that was leading investment into other Asias, you know, like they are trying to have like getting a lot of domestic investment, and also they are trying to invest outside as well. So what we can think about is that if you are actually investing a lot, like for example, South Korea, maybe you can think about with like, you know, OGT, like how many companies in South Korea they are investing others, and then do they actually need South Korea to go to their countries as well? So you can actually have opportunities in other countries that they are actually investing. So right now we are going to have the exercise time. I hope you can get some idea. So we will give you around, I'm not so sure, maybe 10 minutes. 10, is it okay? Yeah, 10 minutes. So you don't have to finish it, but you can try to put, what is that? Try to put some answers there. And then later when you are going to the replan and the pre-attraction, you can come back and also revise once you get more research, okay? So we don't aim to finish all of the things. in now. Is it okay, people? Because we don't have enough time. Okay, so how you are going to answer, like these are the questions I just asked you before. And what I need you to have to focus on will be what if, like the ask yourself, what if we can have this? Like, let's have a dream first, okay? Maybe you want to say, what if we can partnership with Coca-Cola? Or what if we can partnership with who, like very, very top in the country? Or what if we can even partnership with government? So just put all of your dream, that the greatest thing that you can think about. And then later on, you can try to think about how we can reach there. Is it cool for everyone? If you are cool with Red, can you, okay, I see India is there, Indonesia is there, Japan is there, Mongolia is there. Yeah, by the way, OGT and IGT, you can do it together. So if you have two people, you can separate the questions, okay? Okay, time's up, people. I'm sorry I have to end your researching process and also putting your dreams there. I'm really sorry that we don't have enough time because we start late and I need to end on time because next session is AI session. So I will just give one chance to Indonesia because I see you are bringing in the proposals there. And for people who haven't finished, maybe you can just stop and later if you want to share, you can also share. Like I see Japan is typing, Malaysia, Pakistan, Myanmar. I believe you already have some ideas, so you can just share, okay? Okay, so let's have Indonesia to share. What is the dream or opportunities that you think about? Who deleted my part?
Okay, I will share and then maybe after this Alvin can add. So our top dreams are for our city is to have partnership with government. We had this like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was really great. We can deliver a lot of exchanges, but yeah, there were some problems since we are handling with government so many documents and a paper issue and legality, something like that. But after all, I think if we can learn and more prepare, maybe in 1 or 2 years, we can plan to have that again.
Okay.
And maybe Alvin, do you have some addition?
Okay, maybe from IGT side, actually I have a dream that maybe one day we could enhance our partnership and collaboration with more incubator or accelerator who like have a platform for many startups. So it could make us more easy to sell our product to them because the relationship is already built right in incubator or accelerator. Yeah, and then if there are more visibility, if we could have the collaboration like initiate with global partners, but in short term I don't know, because in Indonesia we used to have short term, we didn't have medium period or long period. So yeah, maybe let's say one day that one of my dream in IGT side.
Okay, thank you so much for the sharing. Cool. So do we have anyone else want to share? Like Malaysia, Japan, Vietnam, India, South Korea. What's in your mind?
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. I'm Takuma, MCBT IGT in ISEC in Japan. And we really hope to develop the partnership between the countries that have a conflict with Japan. Because in this situation, it's really usual to operate global internship because globalization is going, and it's really usual. So in this kind of situation, we really consider the purposeful and meaningful exchange. So now Japan have faced some troubles with some countries, but ISEC don't have a border, and ISEC have a meaningful vision. So through ISEC, we want to develop the cross-cultural exchange, and we want to be an accelerator between the countries who have conflicts. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's really nice, Sherry. Anyone else? One more chance. Maybe we can have South Korea.
There are two of us. Maybe I will go. Basically, okay, I kind of got confused which row I was on, but currently like the overall situation in Korea is that there's no border restrictions, and that's a pretty good thing. But the one downside of that is our visa type that we currently that we know and works is only for 12 weeks. So we're kind of like, well, if they have to quarantine, something like that, that can be quite difficult. But something that I really see as a really big opportunity is that they have a whole government, I don't know if this is common, but like a whole government sector for startups. So as small to medium-sized enterprises, and they're really investing in that, not only like Korean startups, but also to bring foreign startups to Korea as well. There's a lot of like startup competitions geared for international companies. So like something like my greatest dream is like being able to work with big members of the startup community, especially if there's like government funding with it. Then like I've seen a lot of accelerators and incubators that focus on like social impact, with like some of them even with like a SDG focus. It'd be really cool to work with people who are quite aligned with I6's vision, and also to provide like interns to those kinds of companies as well. Yeah, so that's kind of what I know so far.
That's really cool. Okay, so I guess we need to close this session. Sorry for 5 minutes delay. So yeah, so again, like back to our major challenges in terms of the IR alignments. We were misaligned from the beginning, messy in the middle, and here we go again. So for this time, how we want to do it differently, right? And then with the amount of information that we have, how we can actually have a better decision making in terms of how we want to put IR as the strategy to grow our products, to make sure it is going to be more sustainable, and we are actually a more promising organizations to the different types of the customers. And here will be the way forward. Like first of all, of course, like I hope you can actually update your info before the replan. So when people take into consideration or during the replan, after replan, they can know who to reach out according to that information sheets, like who can be the potential partners or what kind of initiatives can be brought up in different countries. So I hope that you can actually update before the replan, and also suggest to our 2021 about the information accountability system and for better alignment. So I know that in this term, like because of a lot of things are happening in my term with Phileas and me, like we were trying to build up this kind of information, but like we were not foreseeable enough. Like we were also adapting to it with you. But I guess this can be a good starting point for us to work in a regional level, how we can be better. So back to the sentences that how we were starting our term, like we were talking about stronger, united, collaborative GT. And I guess this is not just a behavior that, like the sentence that only delivered by regional office, we are putting it in everywhere in the slides, but it should be a common behaviors that all of you here are thinking about how we can actually make us stronger, and then how we can be more united, how we can be more collaborative, how we can actually talk more in the daily conversation. Probably you are tired, you are like focusing a lot on your own entity stuff, but I think a lot of the conversations is actually powerful. And if you can actually bring up this kind of conversations, or when you are seeing some sudden news, and then you can reach out to the countries in the region or just talk in the group to talk about how you think about it, what kind of opportunities we can get from these new initiatives between countries, then I guess we can actually move faster and better. So what is your dream in AP, GTA, and GT, and what if comes true? So I hope you can always maintain this kind of hope in the next semester, and then yeah, I will be there for you. I mean, I'm going to be internship product manager like somehow, so I will still be here, and I'm always welcome to get to hear good news from AP as well. Yeah, so that's all for today's session. I hope you like it. And I guess next session you need to go to the AI session. Yo-ho! Phileas, can you let them know what is that?
Okay, in the announcement, we are going to have OD model launch in 7 minutes.
7 minutes, okay.
Yes. So you can really take a break, like get water, get coffee, get whatever you like, okay? And then we will see you with there. So it will be with Julie, AIPP OD. Yeah.
Yay,
see you guys.
Bye, people. If you want to stay here and play Among Us, we can have one more round. But I suggest you don't. You just take a rest. Okay. Okay, bye.
Okay.